Hello everyone. In this video, we will be discussing about an array. Very first, let me start with the definition. After I will explain you what is the need of using the array. After that, I will show you how the arrays are going to work. After that, we'll see some examples. Okay. So, very first definition. An array is a collection of elements of similar data type. Means you are going to create a group of what? Elements. Okay, elements of what? Similar data type. Means it should have integer group, a character, all characters group, like that. Okay, so now let me show you the need. First of all, let me take out one variable. Okay, so int a. Why we have taken this variable? Why we have taken? The purpose of taking this variable is to store integer number, right? So this is the way how we store the numbers. Now I need to store one more integer number. Okay, integer type of data I need to store. What I need to do? So I need to create one more variable of integer type, and after that I have to write like this. So I have to write this type for storing the data and displaying, and are followed by later on for printing or whatsoever we use. For example, we need to store one more data of integer type. Now obviously we are going to create one more variable. Now assume I want to store 4 integer numbers. For storing 4 integer numbers, how many variables need? 4 variables are needed, integer type. So for example, I want to store the data of 100 integer numbers I want to store. 100 integer numbers I want to store. Now can you guess how many variables I need to create here for storing 100 integer numbers? Obviously, I need to create 100 variables for storing 100 integer numbers. Practically, is it possible? Even though it is possible, it is more time taking, and there will be a lot of confusion which data where we have stored. So it will be very difficult. In order to avoid this, we have introduced what? Arrays, where we can create an array and we can store all the elements of similar data type. So here example I am showing int. Which type data type it is? Int, integer. A is the array name, and 5 is the size. Means an array name A with size 5 you are going to create. Means like this, whenever you write this tab, it internally it will create 5 integer slots, 1 2 3 4 5. But do remember, the integer slots are going to start from 0. Integer slots are going to start from 0, not 1. Okay, so during the declaration, whatever you write in square bracket, that you call it as size. If you write here size 5 slots will be created. If you write size 10 slots will be created. But after this step, that will be divided as A of 0, A of 1, A of 2, A of 3, A of 4. Means A is 0 index, A is first index, A is second index, like that. Okay. So before going in depth about this, just very first let me tell you, there are 2 types of arrays are there. First one is 1D array, one dimensional array, and the second one is 2D array, 2-dimensional array. Okay, so now I am going ahead. Assume that I have created an array with size 5, and this is the way how we can store by using assignment operator. Use curly brackets and write numbers. How many numbers I have written? You observe here. Totally 5 numbers I have written. Means as I have given the size as 5, I can store how many elements here? 5 elements. That's why I have assigned 5 elements. Now these 5 elements will be stored in this following manner. The first element will be stored in A of 0. I told you already, during this step only, this 5 will be considered as size. After that, it will be considered as index. A of 0 means A is 0 index. In that slot, 12 will be stored. Next slot name is A of 1. In that slot, 23 will be stored. Next slot, A of 2. There 34 will be stored. Next slot, A of 3. 45 will be stored. Next slot A of 4, 56 will be stored. Like this, these 5 elements are getting stored. If we want to print them individually also we can print, and also by using for loop also we can print like this. I am going to start my for loop from 0. Why? You know, the array index starts from 0. That's why 0 to less than 5. Why? Because last index of array is 4 here as per this example. Okay, less than 5 is nothing but 4. What you are printing here, A of, look here, A of within square bracket what I have written here, the variable used for loop, A of I in the sense very first 0. What is A of 0? What you have stored in A of 0? 12, that will be printed. Next, A of 1, 23 will be printed. Next, 34 will be printed. Next, 45 will be printed. Next, 56 will be printed. Like this, this array concept will work. Okay, I will show you from here all the examples what we can use for arrays. Okay, so let me remove all these things, and now I'm going to create an array with size 5. Here 12, 45, 36, 23, 98. Total how many elements I have stored here? Totally 5 elements I am storing here. Why? Because array size is 5. I can store 5 elements only. 5 slots are created now. That's why 5 elements only can store. Okay. Now I can print like this directly. Printf %d comma A of 0 I am writing. What is A of 0? In the slide I told you the first element is getting stored in 12 is getting stored in 0 index. A of 0 index. What is there in A of 0 index? 12 will be printed. You see here. Look at what is the output we are getting? 12. For example, I want to printf %d comma A of 3 I have written. And one more time I am telling you, in this place only this 5 will be considered as size. After this step, this will be talking about index. A of third index. I told you already in array, the first index is 0, second 1, 2, 3. A of 3. What is there in A of 3? 23 will be there. So see here, now what I am trying, using two printfs I have used. First I am printing A of 0, next what I am printing? A of 3. What is there in A of 0? 12. What is there in A of 3? 23. So 12, 23 should be printed. Let us check. 12, 23 got printed. Now let me write printf %d comma A of 1. What is there in A of 1? A of 0 is this. A of 1, 45. 45 should be printed. So 12, 23, 45 should be printed. Look, 12, 23, 45 got printed. Now, instead of printing all these things individually, we can use for loop also for printing the elements. Let me create one integer variable I for using for loop. For that I am going to start with 0. Why? Because array index starts with 0. I less than 5 I have written. For this example, totally 5 elements are there. Last index will be 4. That's why. Less than 5 is nothing but 4. Up to 4. What you are trying to print here? All the elements stored. So what you have stored? 12, 45, 36, all this. Just printf %d comma. Let me write on \n comma A of, observe here, I am not writing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I am writing what? I is the index what I am using in the for loop. And observe here, this for loop I am starting with 0. Why? Because array index starts with 0. Now very first A of 0. What is A of I? I is nothing but 0. A of 0. What is A of 0? 12. 12 will be printed. Next A of 1. What is 45 will be printed. Next is 36. Next 23. Next 90. All elements will be printed. 12, 45, 36, 23, 90. All elements got printed. For example, I wrote I equals to 1, I less than 5. Now what is the output you are going to get? You are going to print all the elements from A of 1 itself. A of 0 will not be there. 12 will not be, except 12 all will be printed. So observe. 45, 36, 23, 98. 45, 36, 23, 98. Where is 12? Not able to print. Why I am not able to print? This for loop is not starting with 0. Let me start that for loop with 0. Now again you check, you will print all the elements. All the elements got printed. Now the question is this the only way I can store the elements by using assignment operator? No. I can use for loop for reading also. Okay. See here. I can write what I am just putting a message, prompting message, enter array elements. Okay. So after that, same for loop I am using for I equals to 0, I less than 5, I plus plus. After that, scanf percentage %t comma ampersand a of I. You observe here a of I am right. Why? Because first element what you are getting, what you are trying to enter is getting stored in a of 0. Okay. So here I am, for differentiating, I am just putting a message, entered elements are, that message I will be able to print in between input and output. Entered elements are, this message I am trying to add, and see here I am trying to execute the code. So it is asking for enter array elements, means which step is running? The 6th step is running. Okay, after that I will enter 5 elements. Look at here, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. All these elements got printed. Okay, so stored, all these elements got stored. So now the question is where this 12 gets stored, where this 13 gets stored, 14 gets stored, 15 gets stored, 17 gets stored. Now let me answer you. You have written ampersand a of I. What is I first? 0. Means in a of 0 you are storing 12. In a of 1 you are storing 13. Like that. So similarly 5 elements got stored. After that I am pressing enter. And see here I am able to print all the 5 elements again. Why I am able to print all the 5 elements again here is, you observe your for loop, after for reading you wrote one for loop, for printing also you wrote one for loop. For I equals to 0, I less than 5, print will work for 5 times. First time when I equals to 0, asking to print a of 0. What you have entered in a of 0? You have entered in a of 0 12, that's why 12 will be printed. What you have entered in a of 1? 13, that 13 will be printed. What you have entered in a of 2? 14, 14 will be printed. 15 next, 15 will be printed. In a of 4, what you have printed? 17, that 17 will be printed. Means you observe the code what I have written here. I have written for loop for reading the elements and also for loop for printing the elements. So the similar way how I have explained in the first slide, whenever we create an array, these 5 slots will be created. A of 0, A of 1, A of 2, A of 3, A of 4 will be the slots, like this. The similar way all the elements are getting stored, how I have shown, I have explained in the starting. Okay, so in the similar way all the elements are getting printed. So for idea or for remembering, I can tell you, use for loop for reading the elements, use for loop for printing the elements. Now for example, very first let me show you enter code what I have written here. Very first, 4th step you observe, I have created an array with size 5, means total 5 integer slots are created. I can use for loop for reading elements into an array. I value is getting started from 0. Why? Array index starts from 0. This for loop will run for 5 times and scanf will run for 5 times. 5 times you can enter the elements. First element can be stored in first slot, A of 0. Second element can be stored in second slot, A of 1. Third element can be stored in third slot, A of 2, like that. 5 elements getting stored. And after storing all 5 elements, I am asking to print all the 5 elements using for loop. this printf will run for 5 times. Index is starting from 0 with why, because I want to print the element from 0 index of an array. A of 0 element will be printed. Next a of 1 will be whatever the elements you are entering, those elements, all elements are printing. One more time I am executing the code. First element 12, this is getting stored in a of 0. 13, this is getting stored in a of 1. 14, this is getting stored in a of 2. 15, this is getting stored in a of 3. 16, this is getting stored in a of 4. Now you are printing all the 5 elements what you have stored. This is how the arrays works. Okay, now I have a question. I will write a program for calculating the sum of all the elements in an array. This is my question. So what I am trying to do is, I will create an array like this, int a of 5. Okay, what will happen? Obviously, totally how many slots will be created? 5 slots will be created. What is the first slot name? A of 0. After that, next slot name is a of 1. What is the next slot name? A of 2. Next slot name a of 3. Next slot name a of 4. Like this, 4 slots will be printed. Okay, created. 5 slots will be created. Now I will enter the value 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Like this, 5 slots. In 5 slots I am going to store 5 elements. How you can store? By using for loop. Within the for loop, scanf. Like this. For loop, within the for loop, scanf. Like this. Elements are getting stored. Now I want to print how I explained in the previous code. For printing all the elements from 0 index to all last index, I am using again for loop. All these elements will be printed. But now the question is not about printing, reading and printing. Now the question is about read the elements, after that calculate the sum of elements. So for that I am going to write the logic. In order to remember, here one hint I am giving. In order to trace out all the elements in an array from first to last, you need to use the for loop from 0 to n minus 1. Now my array size is 5. That's why 5 less than 5. I less than n you can write. If array size is n, then you can write I less than n. Okay, I plus plus. After that I will be writing one step here for sum of elements. Okay, x equals to x plus a of I, where the elements are stored a of I only. No? Within the for loop, whenever you want to talk about the elements in an array, a of I only you have to write. Now initially I am writing x value as 0. Initially, what is the x value I have given? 0. Now the question is how this works. This for loop works. Okay, so x value is 0 initially. When the first time this for loop works, x equals to x plus 0 plus a of I value is 0. Na? A of 0. What is a of 0? 12. So a of 0, let me write down a of 0, which implies x equals to 0 plus a of 0. What is the 0 value? A of 0 value 12. 0 plus 12 becomes what? 12. Okay, now the x value is 12. When this for loop runs for one time, first time when I equals to 0. Okay, now I value is getting incremented. Na? Next time, now I am writing the step will be like x equals to, what is the previous x value? 12. 12 plus a of 1. 12 plus a of 1. Now it will be like x equals to 12 plus, what is a of 1? What here we are storing? 13. 12 plus 13, which becomes x equals to 25 now. Right? Hope you are able to understand. Now next time x again this for loop will run. X equal to x plus, what is the previous x value? 25 plus, this time I value is 2 na, a of 2, which implies x equals to 25 plus, what is there in a of 2? 14. 25 plus 14, which is nothing but x plus x value is nothing but 39. Right? So now can you guess? I value next time will become 3, right? So now x equals to, what is the previous x value? 39. 39 plus, what is a of 3 now? Why? Because I value becomes 3. Implies x equals to 39 plus, what is there in a of 3? 15. 39 plus 15. What is that? What is that? 54. Right? So now next time I value becomes 4. So x equal to x plus previous x value 54 plus a of 4. 54 plus a of 4 is nothing but x equals to 54 plus, what is there in a of 4? 16. 54 plus 16, which implies x value is 70. So after completion of this entire for loop, if I print the x value, what is the output I will get? 70. 70 is nothing but sum of all the elements of array. So now you just look at the program. What are the changes we can do for this? Up to reading of elements, no need to change the code. Now this entire thing I am removing. This is not needed. Here, instead of printing all the elements, I will be writing one step. X equals to x plus a of I. And x value should be initialized with what? 0. X value should be initialized with 0. It's not compulsory that you have to write x only. You can write sum also. The variable name sum also allowed. Any variable name you can write. My habit is to write x value there. That's why I write. So you can write sum equals to sum plus a of I also. Okay. So x equals to x plus a of I. As per my habit I am writing. You can use any variable there. X equals to 0. Now after completion of this for loop is running after running for 5 times. It is ready with the final x value. X is nothing but final sum. Printf %d. After for loop, you observe here, don't get confused. After for loop only I am printing. Final answer I want. X. I am printing. You just see here. Let me execute the code. I am entering 1, or let me enter 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. 5 elements are entering. So 10 plus 11, 21 plus 12, 33 plus 13, 46 plus 14, 60 should be the answer. And what is the output we got it? 60. And this is the logic. What I am showing you now is the sum of elements in an array. This is for reading. This part is always will be there. When you have create an array, we have to read the elements. After reading the elements only we have to work on. As we have to calculate all the elements sum, that's why I am writing x equal to x plus a of I. Sum of all the elements one by one, one by one, one by one. After for loop is done, I am printing the final x value, which is the sum of all the elements in an array. Okay, now the condition is, I don't want to print all the calculate the sum of all the elements. I want to calculate only the sum of only even numbers in this. 12, 14, 16 are the even numbers. 13, 15 are not even numbers. I want to calculate the sum of only even numbers. Out of all the numbers, I want to calculate the sum of only even numbers. You know the logic for sum. Only before calculating sum, you need to put one condition. If your number is even, modulo 2 equals to 0 is the logic for even. So what should be the numerator here? I told you already, whenever you are dealing with array, if you are in for loop, you have to write simply a of I. That's it. Any logic you take, within the for loop, you have to deal with element in an array, you write just a of I, if your array name is a. Okay, now I am coming back to this. This is the code I have shown you for calculating sum of all the elements. Now before calculating sum, I am putting the condition a of I modulo 2 equals to 0. Then only calculate sum. Means only even numbers only should be calculated to the sum. Now see here, I have entered the elements. I am going to enter 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Out of these 5 numbers, what are the even numbers we have? 12 and 14 only are the even numbers. So 12 plus 14 how much? 26 should be the answer. Look at 26 is the answer we are getting. Means we are telling system, don't calculate the sum of all the elements, only the even numbers sum only you need to calculate. For telling that, I am just putting a condition before calculating the sum. A of I modulo 2 equals to 0. If I remove this, what will happen? The code will calculate all the elements sum. If I put this, it will calculate the sum of all only even element. If I write like this, if A of I modulo 2 not equals to 0, means just do the sum of elements which are not even. That's what you are trying to tell. Now see here. 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Out of these 5 elements, which are not even means odd. 11, 13, 15. These are the odd numbers. 11 plus 13, 24. 24 plus 15, 39. 39 should be the answer. Look at 39. Now this is the code for sum of all the elements only which are odd. Now if you remove this step, if you write double equals to, this is the code for sum of all even numbers in a array. Or if you remove this entire step, then this is the logic for sum of all the elements in an array. That's it. This is how the arrays concept works. You take down any code from here, just reading up to here will be the similar mostly, and from here only you need to write down the for loop for dealing with each and every element, and within this what is the question asked, that related code you write it, then it will be easy to complete the code. Okay, so hope you understood the basics what I have given about the arrays and examples of 1D array, and after that in the next video I will be discussing about 2D array also. Okay, so now before leaving or closing this video, I just wanted to put a question in front of you, like my input is 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. My output should be like this: 24, 13, 26, right? 26, 28, 30, 32. Input is 12. What is there in A of 0? What is there in A of 0? 12. But that should be updated with 24. What is there in A of 1? 13. 13 should be updated with what? 26. Means each and every element in an array should be doubled. What could be the logic for that? My logic is simply reading part I am not changing up to 10th step. I am not changing the reading part. This part only, whatever the logic you need to apply, you need to come here only. A of I should be updated with, A of 0 should be updated with A of 0 or any element I. That's why I am writing I into 2. Double only, na? All the elements getting double now. A of 0 is getting doubled. A of 0 is getting updated with A of 0 into 2. A of 1 is getting updated with A of 1 into 2, like that. Now all the elements are getting updated. Now you want to print all the elements. Again all the elements I am printing. For that I need what? For loop. Okay. Before printing I am writing updated array. Array is. Again the same story. Just you can copy this code and you can paste it. But instead of calculation part, what you have to do? Now this time you need to print the array. Printf. %t \n comma A of I. Now let me execute. Now I am entering the elements 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Now what is the output? 22, 24, 26. All the elements got doubled. If you want to make it triple, all the elements into 3 you write. Like this, simple. Okay. So hope you understood what array is. You just try to work on more and more examples. You will get a strong basics on arrays. Okay. Thanks for watching. Thank you guys.